I'm Samantha Simone, and just did an awesome interview with Keith Andrew. I think he's doing a fantastic job, and if you want to have a good time on camera and make a new friend while you're doing it, I highly recommend.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. This is episode 624. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Samantha Simone. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No, the honor's all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and to prove to them to amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. That being said, half hour, 34 minutes of your time. It's PG-13, but you have the freedom of speech to say what you want, express how you feel, and like I said, you're making a new friend out of it, and it's a good cause. Now, with that being said, I'm going to ask you some easy questions, then we can go to the hard-hitting ones, and you can throw it back at me. I'll post it on you, you post it back. So the first one I'm going to ask you is, how's life growing up, and when you were in high school, did you do any sports? Well, actually, let me rephrase that. When you were growing up, how was life growing up, and when you were in high school and college, did you do any sports?
Yeah, life for me growing up was, I had a lovely upbringing. My parents are wonderful. I have one younger sister, and we are very, very close. We lived in Long Island for most of our lives, and then when I was 9, we moved to London, England for a few years. And my parents were really big on traveling as much as we possibly could while we were living over there. So I'm so thankful for that experience because I got to meet so many different people. And then moved to Jersey, and now I'm in the city. And in high school, I count dance as a sport. I was on the dance team. And then in college as well, I was on the dance team.
No, absolutely. What part of Long Island did you used to live in?
Mineola?
Is that north or south?
Oh, it's been so many years. I'm actually not sure the answer to that question.
My parents used to live in, let's see if I remember correctly, Massapequa.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And my grandparents used to be in Seaford.
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
And I used to have a friend who used to live in Smithtown.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Massapequa's not too far from where I was, where your parents used to be.
Oh, that's not so bad. So we're about the same area.
Yeah.
So the next question I was going to ask you is, what about high school and college? You mentioned you did ballet, so that's another thing I want to talk to you about. But in high school, college, did you do any sports? Were you like a study nerd, a party animal?
No, I'm a theater kid, so was primarily doing a lot of shows, and then dance team was a hip-hop-based dance team, so we would compete on weekends, so nothing too crazy in terms of, like, partying and things like that. It was more, like, show schedules are so rigorous that it feels like a sport, even though, like, you're not an athlete in the same sense as someone who's training for football, but, I mean, actors are on just as rigorous of diet and exercise plans as most athletes are, and our rehearsal schedules are more, if not, the same level as any athlete.
No, absolutely. What about, a lot of people make fun of me for this, but did you ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or are you not into all the human pyramid stuff?
I never did, actually.
I love that stuff. I'm a loser.
No. I mean, it's a physical challenge, right? So.
It's true. Would you ever be up for doing one?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have a strong base, that's what you need for any pyramid.
It's funny, I actually turned this into a new subject because I like it so much. So I'm going to ask you the three top questions. I want you to be completely honest with it. If you had to do one, would you do side by side, or would you do like the stack?
Probably side by side. Yeah.
I would say the stack's more of a challenge, but it's more fun too.
Interesting. Yeah.
What about how many people?
Nah. If we have a base of like 6 and then going up, so it's 11, 15, about like 20-ish people.
No, that sounds like a good one. Like the small one, the tiny one's like 3 people. Then it's 6, 10, and 15.
Yeah. Strive for the top. Let's go 15.
And where do you want to be? Top, bottom, or middle?
Middle to top. That like upper 3 people, just because I know my upper body strength is still something I'm working on. So I don't want to be on the bottom in case I'm the person who falls.
Well, you look great to me.
Thank you.
Like I said, I'm a loser. I love that stuff.
Oh, good.
Okay, so I asked you the easy ones. Now I'm going to ask you the hard-hitting ones. But I saw that you were a fan of Blue Bloods, and you are a professional actor. But before we get to that, you also mentioned ballet. So the first question I want to ask you is, who influenced you to become a ballet performer, and how many years have you been a ballet performer?
I actually do hip-hop, not ballet. And for dance, I started dancing when I was maybe 4 or 5. And I started in ballet. And then I took my first hip-hop class at the age of 10 and never looked back. I was like, this is everything. It's more athletic. It's more individual, less rigorous in terms of, like, what you need to look like in terms of body. And I found that to be more liberating and freeing. And I like harder hitting movements versus like up and elegant. So I would say that like just being in class and experiencing a hip hop class for the first time was all the inspiration I needed to get started with that. And then I've been dancing hip hop since I was 10. I still take classes at Alvin Ailey with Jonathan Lee. He's incredible. And what keeps me going is because taking class in the city is so expensive that whenever I'm feeling low creatively, the first thing I do is jump back into a dance class. And like, it's that challenge, that failure threshold of like, no, I'm not going to get the moves right because I haven't been in class in a month, but I want to be here. The music is amazing. He's amazing. And like everyone in class is so amazing that I just want to be here and soak up as much inspiration as possible.
No, absolutely. And now let's talk about a little of your acting career. Who influenced you to become an actor, and how many years have you been acting?
I have been acting professionally since I was 10. I was on a TV show as a kids cook cadet on a British television show called Planet Cook. The person who I'd say inspired me most to be an actor is my grandpa. He's a professional musician and has been his entire life. And he is just, when he plays the piano and sings, it's otherworldly. It's just like it takes you to a whole nother place as an audience member. And that, to me, was always something that I wanted to do in telling my stories. Because I was never good at the piano and not a very good singer. So I was like, I can do this. And he's always been the person who's been 100% behind my career. And yeah, he's my man.
What were some of your favorite moments about being on live TV, and what was your very first live TV appearance?
My very first one was this kids cooking show when I was 10, and that one was fun. It was like different to be a child actor because you're just treated very differently, and that was cool. But it was just like a taste. And, like, after that, I said to my parents, like, I want to be famous. I just want to be on TV. And they were like, no, you're going to go to high school and be a regular kid. And I was like, okay. But I'd say one of my favorite moments was recently, I have a recurring role on the TV show Blue Bloods. And my character is fun. She's quirky. She's a tech. And on my, like, 4th episode, Donnie, like, came over to me and was like, we keep bringing you back because we like you. And you're amazing. And, like, you know what you're doing. And I was like, whoa, okay. Like, you're a seasoned professional. And I really admire the work that they all do in that room. They're a very collaborative room, which I really, really like. And it's just nice to feel trusted as an actor in a space.
No, absolutely. And you're not the only one from Blue Bloods that I got in. I got in my friend Alex. He kind of looks like Donnie, but he doesn't. You may have met him. But once I added you to my Facebook fan page, you would see him. And there's another one. I can't think of her name, but her name starts with a B. And she's got, I think, Latina. She's probably going to kill me. Latina or black, but she has long black hair, and she's a detective.
Cool. Yeah, I may have met them, yeah. Very possible.
And yeah, you're the third one. And hey, if you guys can put a good word in for me. I know Blue Bloods is wrapping up and everything, but I'm a big fan. I would love to be on that show. But hey, you can't be on that show, be on another hit one, right?
Exactly.
But that brings up the next guy. Actually, we'll stay on this for a couple more minutes. What was your very first interaction with the cast on your very first day? So let's give us a perfect example. It's your first day, you're like a deer in the headlights. What were you expecting to walk into? And how did everything turn out?
Yeah. So my first day, fun story of how I got casted. I was a reader for the show, and was helping out casting for other parts. I wasn't, like, technically auditioning, and was called in for a role, and I was supposed to leave for Edinburgh, Scotland the following day, to be a part of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with a show that my classmates had written, created, everything. As I'm getting on the plane to go to Scotland, I found out that I booked this part. So I called my parents and was like, I cannot afford a flight home, but I can't pass this opportunity up. Help. And my dad was like, cool. Yep, we will get you home in time for shooting. So I got off the plane on whatever day it was. The following morning I had a costume fitting, and then the following day was shoot day. So it was like a whirlwind of a week. I showed up very, very jet lagged from, like, not even adapting to the UK time zone and then coming back. And then I was met with the person who, like, looks after you for the day. And she was like, what can I get you for breakfast? And I was like, what are my options? And she's like, no, literally, like, what do you want for breakfast? And I was amazed that, like, there's a whole craft services that will make you whatever you want, as opposed to, like, whatever's offered to the people who are extras and things like that. Got into costume, went to shoot, to set. My first day was actually very, very quick and easy. I got there whatever time I did in the morning, and I was released by, like, maybe 2 in the afternoon, around lunchtime, because they did all of my scenes back to back to back, which was nice to just keep the momentum going. Things that, like, blew my mind was when they were like, oh, Sam, go take a seat over there. We have your stand-in so that we can light the thing. And I was like, I can sit there. And they were like, no, you can't. So just, like, the amount of respect that are given to actors on film and TV for their time, which I feel like in theater isn't always the case.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, because we're going to keep it more, of course, we had some fun in the beginning, but now we're going to be serious. It's for people who want to follow in your footsteps, because I want to become an actor. So that brings up the top 2 questions. Mm-hmm. You know, what is your advice? And don't forget, we're going to do a Q&A, so we can also do more of this after. But for right now, staying focused, for people with disabilities that want to follow in your footsteps, like for me, I want to follow you. I don't want to be, not to sound like a stalker or anything, but I'm not, or sound like a carbon copy, but you want to say, what is the process to say, if you can do it, I can do it too. But with that being said, I have a disability, and I can't read if my life depended on it. Do you think the people will lenient or saying they will be patient with you, or if it depends on the person to be like, we need it like this. If you can't do it, get the hell out of here. With you, what you experience, how do you feel about it?
I feel, at least now in film and TV and theater as well, most recently, there has been a lot of opportunities for all sorts of people, which is amazing to go into a room and be like, yeah, they brought in everyone across the spectrum of race, gender, disability versus ability, anything like that. They are bringing in everyone. And I think it comes down to, there's so much of this business that you have no control over. And that is one of the hardest things to remember, of you on paper could be exactly what they want, but so is the next person, and so is the next person, and so are 300 other people that they're casting from all different areas. So I think that the casting end of things and the collaborative end of things is definitely more receptive to all different types of people these days. And I find that they are very patient as long as your relationship is like a transparent one. And you say like, hey, this is what I got. This is what's going on. Cause there was an episode of Blue Bloods that I was working, and they wanted a close up of my hands, and I have rheumatoid arthritis. So sometimes I swell pretty uncontrollably. And I was having a really bad flare, and one of my fingers looked maybe like it was triple the size. And I was like, are you sure? Really? You want it? You can have it, but like, this is what you got. And the director looked at me and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. Like, I have rheumatoid arthritis. I'm just in a flare right now. You can have the close-up, but it's not going to be cute. And he was like, no, great. We're not going to do it. Thank you for letting us know. And it was just I didn't feel like he wasn't listening to me, or that he didn't take my health into consideration, because it was, at the end of the day, it's what they need to get the story told in the right way. So I find that transparency, patience, and remembering it's not in your control are like the biggest things.
What about for how else would you say for people who want to break into the business? What would be your words of wisdom?
Starting out, I would say, like, from having going from a no experience place, figure out what you are into, in terms of like TV and film and theater, what things excite you, what directors excite you, what other actors really excite you. And what I still do, even after like going to a very prestigious master's program and everything like that, I take class regularly with casting directors and agents and things like that, who I'm like, yeah, I'm into what you do. And I'm constantly learning. So I would say starting from scratch, find those people who you really get excited about and go take classes with them. And then to figure out, I think if like TV film is a potential thing that you'd be interested in, background work is work. They can be long, tedious, awful hours. But it's a good experience to be like, okay, this is how a film crew operates. These are the celebrities I'm within arm's reach of. Can I handle that? Some people make full-on careers out of being background actors, which is, we need them, right? Like, we need those bodies walking in the back. And yeah, it's a stamina thing. So I would say those would be my two biggest words of wisdom: is find people who excite you, take those classes, and make the opportunities for yourself.
No, absolutely. Now, my next question I was going to ask you, going back to the grading book, I haven't used this since 2014. Let's see, what lesson would be really good? All right. Did you ever have a conflict on set with another castmate, and how did you solve it?
On set, no. I've been pretty fortunate to work with some awesome folks on camera. In the theater rehearsal room, there's always conflict because there's just a lot more people involved. And I feel like theater or TV actors go in to do the job that they need to do, and then they leave. And they interact with you, but it's usually very pleasant, and it's to just get a working rapport, because you're most likely meeting for that day and only that day, or like that day and maybe 2 other days. Whereas theater people, you're working on a show for months. And there would be many a time where my personal feelings for someone would get in the way of how I would behave in the rehearsal room. But I think as a mature adult, the thing to do is just to pull that person aside and say, like, hey, man, this is not working for me. And in order for me to be a professional in the room, this is what I need. I'm a very open and transparent person, and I like to be clear with how I'm feeling. So I will, I'm usually the person who will initiate that conversation of just being like, nope, that's not going to fly. And if they can't adapt, then that's what stage managers are for, and they're an actor's best friend.
No, absolutely. And I give you an example. There's a lot of people who I worked with over the years, in retail and everything. I'm like, hey, look, we have to work together. This is a retail job. Just let's get through it. Outside the job, you don't like me, hey, you can kiss my ass and whatever. But we're getting paid to do the job. That's all that matters for now. So you have to split it. Like, do what's right now, and after we're done, the bear's the door. We're going to make friends with it.
Exactly, yeah. That's a good way of looking at it.
So you know your mic dropped off.
Oh. Weird. Am I back now?
Yeah, but it's still low, but I can hear you, though.
I get weird Wi-Fi in my apartment.
Don't worry about it. Now, the next question I was going to ask you, if you could work with any actors, who would you want to work with?
I would say women who I idolize are Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep. I think they are some of the most versatile actors that our generation has seen. And then for men, Robert Downey Jr., I think, is a comedic genius. I gained a lot of respect recently for Bradley Cooper and Matthew McConaughey after watching their most recent work. And I mean, like, who wouldn't want to marry Leonardo DiCaprio? So, like, we should meet just so I can marry him.
Oh, absolutely. What about... Okay, this is going to be a good one. Would you ever... Apparently you're working with me, but have you ever worked with people with disabilities, and are you willing to work with people with disabilities?
Yes. So my background before in undergrad, I double majored in elementary education and acting. And during my elementary education experience, I was a student teacher, and I had 6 kids in my class with special needs in an inclusion-based classroom. I was also a one-to-one assistant for a girl with Down syndrome in my camp. And my uncle had cerebral palsy growing up. So I am very open and very willing. I find that there is so much more care that just needs to go in, because no disability, like in a textbook, you can read it, but then you meet someone with it and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I read. So it's just like learning that every person is different, and there is no 2 people that are the same in any aspect. So getting to know people in that way, I find to be actually really inspiring. And the little girl who I worked with in camp, I still look back on like, she changed my life.
No, absolutely. Now, the last question, then we're going to take a commercial break, is what motivated you to get into this line of work? Like, what motivates you every morning, every night? You're like, what I say, like, today's over, tomorrow's a brand new day. But what motivates you to say, this is what I want to do until you... For me, for an example, let me give you an example. What I'm trying to say, when I don't do my episodes, my disability is so smart, so I do apologize. For me, I want to do this until the day I die. That's how passionate on it I am. I've been doing this for 6.5 years. And of course, my family makes fun of it. I have other strangers that make fun of it. I don't really care about that. But this is what makes me happy. This is what makes me feel like a real person, and I can get something out of it. Hey, we're talking and we're making a new friend out of it. It's not just an interview. So I'm getting something out of it by, hey, I'm making a new friend. I'm also working on my people skills. And at the same time, you're helping me with my cause, and we're interacting, so we're going to have fun and everything. So it's kind of like, yeah, therapy for myself, but it's pretty much an example of saying, yeah, it's therapy. Yeah, I've worked on my social skills. But that's what I'm getting out of it. And what the viewers are getting out of it is say, hey, I may have Down syndrome, or I may have autism, or I may have whatever disabilities, or even if you don't have disabilities for that matter, I'm showing you that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. So what I'm trying to ask you is what motivates you every single day and say, you know what, for right now, in this point in time, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, for me, acting is not only the thing that brings me, I'm happiest when I'm acting and on stage and working on anything, auditions or anything like that. It's telling a story. And we as actors are trusted to tell all sorts of stories. And stories that need to be told, especially in times of political difference or laws that aren't being passed that should be passed or shouldn't be passed. Everyone has their opinions. But theater is the thing that will not be shy about it. We are the people who are like, hey, this is the problem you need to be aware of, whether you do something about it or not. And one of my mentors always said, if they leave and they loved it, they hate it, who cares? As long as they leave talking, you did your job. And like everyone's going to have their own opinions of who's the better actor or whatever, but that really doesn't matter as long as you're doing work that's important and work that is targeting an audience to really, really look at themselves. And that's the theater that I like to go see. Is stuff that makes me uncomfortable as a person of like, oh, why? Do I do that? I hope I don't do that. And then you hope that it sparks some kind of change.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about the Big Bang Theory and about social media. Then we'll pass the remaining time over to you.
Hi, I'm Marissa Joy Davis.
This is Michelle Wong.
And I'm Nancy Rose.
My name is Brandy Hunt. And
hello, my name is Raven Wynn.
Hi there. My name is Giovanna Vidal.
Hi, I'm Monica Thomas.
Hi, I'm Paisley Blackburn.
I'm Ashley Burgess.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Abney.
Hi, I'm Sharon Spank.
Hey, this is Samantha Moore.
Hi, I'm Melody Jones.
Hi, my name is Becky Yee.
Hi, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 624. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is the beautiful and talented Samantha Simone. Make sure to like and subscribe to the KeithAndrewNetwork.com. Also, go to YouTube.com, hit that bell icon to be notified. And don't worry, both our Instagrams will be on the bottom of the screen, so they get to follow both of us. So with that being said, the first question I'm going to ask you is, are you a fan of the Big Bang Theory?
I watch it. I'm not like a religious watcher of it. It's more like my parents watch it. It's on in the house, so I watch it. I am a fan of Kaylee Cuoco, though.
Which one was she on the show?
She plays Penny.
Oh, I love Penny. She's one of my favorites. I also like Sheldon, too. Even though a lot of people think he's making fun of people with disabilities. Is that true, or you don't think it's true?
I didn't think he was making fun of. I feel like Jim Parsons is a really smart actor, and when you are portraying someone, if you don't have the disability yourself, when you are portraying a person different than you, at least like the way I've been taught to approach it is to do as much research as possible so that you aren't offending anyone. Because there are people out there with every sort of thing. So like someone could come and be like, that's not it. But that may be their experience as opposed to the research that he did. I don't think he's making fun of.
But yeah, likewise, me too. Even if they did, they would have gotten letters on it, but we never heard anything. With that being said, the last question I'm going to ask you while passing the show over to you is social media. Can social media make you or break you with everything that you accomplish in your life? From using LinkedIn, Twitter, Stage 32, Instagram, or anything I did not mention, do those websites help you get in a role? And does your following help you, support you, and support you of the people that work with you? Passing the show over to you.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not as active on some as I am on others. Like Facebook, I use primarily to keep in touch with friends from abroad. As opposed to like Instagram, I use most frequently, I would say. But it is really great when you're working on stuff to, especially like once you start getting to know these like casting people and directors and stuff like that, they see that you're working. And they see, like, they can see and come to see the reading that you're doing, or come to see the play that you're in, or watch the episode that you just filmed. So it's a really good networking tool. I think you do need to be careful, especially like for someone like myself. I teach as well, and the kids I teach are 5 years old to 18 years old. And I don't ever want a child to feel uncomfortable by something that I've posted, or to take it to their mom and be like, look at this picture we just saw of Sam. Like, nope, not interested. But my rule of thumb is, like, I'm friends with my mother on all of my social medias, so she usually will tell me and be like, that made me uncomfortable, which means it will make someone else uncomfortable. I don't put any political views on anything. I keep pretty neutral about that on my social media platforms. And LinkedIn is a thing I'm still learning, because, like, it's strange as an actor to have one, because it's like, yes, I'm a business, but also, like, I have representation and they are a part of it. And, like, it's just a tricky thing to navigate. So yeah, I feel like that one's the one I least use. I think it can help with networking and promotional stuff. There are people who get paid to just model on Instagram, which is, like, baffling to me. But, like, I've experienced that where, like, a clothing company has approached me and been like, hey, you work out on this show. How about you wear my tank top for free, but, like, just post pictures in it? Like, free workout clothes. Yeah, sure. Like, whatever.
Hey, if that's the case, I have a shirt for you. If you want to wear one of my shirts.
You got it. It's all helping people out, right? So it's like, whatever I can do, I'm a big believer in karma, so, like, if you do something, it comes back at you in some way.
Absolutely, and if you ever need anything, that's what acts make. And you help me, I help you.
Absolutely.
Now, it's the last 3 minutes left and counting. I'm going to pass the show over to you. Was there anything you want to know wrapping up our interview segment?
I guess what prompted, I know you said this is episode 600, which is amazing. What prompted the show to start 600 episodes ago?
Oh, 624, but still. Originally, I said this so many times, and there are so different variations of the story. I used my brother for an inspiration. I used my dad for an inspiration. And a long story short is, I just got tired of using my disability as a crutch. And this is one of the main stories. So I would sit around at the table and we would talk about, my brother before me. I'm the youngest out of 4 brothers and 1 sister. My brother before me would say, I don't know what to do with my life. Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, blah. My parents would say, go talk to him. Your brother, he knows people. Go talk to your sister. And I said, what about me? What about you? You're not educated. You're not qualified. You can't hold down a job. You read and learn at a 5th grade level. You're not capable of going to college because you have an IEP diploma. You don't shut up. You have diarrhea in the mouth. You piss people off. And you're not qualified to do anything because you can't read. And I said, yeah, screw it. I'm going to show you with a disability. Look at what I'm able to accomplish. And I'm a big wrestling fan. In the beginning, I had a show called Uncensored. KeithAndrewNetWork presents Uncensored. And for an example, you can see in my work on season 1, how you would see on the camera on your reflection. That's what season 1 was. And since then, season 2 was, okay, now this is going to be recorded from the computer screen. So I recorded from the phone and recorded from the computer screen. About season 3, 4, someone said to my brother, we came across your brother's work, and it's pretty interesting. Why is he hiding, Paul? Why is he in a little box? Because at the time, I didn't want to be seen. And don't mind me, I just turned off my phone real fast. And he's like, I didn't want to be seen. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. If you want to be famous, you have to be seen. So I said, fine. I looked up something else. It's called like eCam, so it's got to be cut in half. I'm on the right, you're on the left, or if you want to interview me, I can flip it. And then now that's the same video quality I've been doing since 15, 16. And so you see the process from, hey, recording directly from the phone, from recording directly from the camera, from now having eCam do all the work, different introductions, different subjects. Season 1 and 2, I would ask about gay rights, political stuff, and all that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something different. Then I just interviewed actors, okay? Mm-hmm. Then I had said, well, I got actors, let's see what else I can do. And I got actors, actresses, models, CEOs. And recently, I'm like, let's see what else I can get. And just all little by little, I was pushing and pushing to... long story short, I came across this actress. She's a former Power Ranger, and I asked her, "Hey, I want you on the show." No, thank you. Next day, "Hey everyone, I have a brand new show. It's kind of uncensored. It was this and that." And I said, son of a bitch. She took my name and concept. So I called her, an asshole and a hypocrite. And then I thought about it and said, you know what? She was right. I overreacted. Because I don't own the rights to uncensored. Uncensored can be used for me, can be used for you, can be used for your cat or your dog. I apologize. A long story about that. And the bottom line is, she said, I don't accept apologies from people like you. So with that being said, I said, the hell was it? And also at the time, people were backing out of it. Then my brother said to me, "You're not copyrighted, you're not trademarked." So I went to a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. Said, "You don't need be copyrighted or trademarked. Give me the highlights. Your biggest mistake was you were not having people sign permission forms. Now I say to people, you have 30 days. After 30 days, it's a done deal. As long as it does not discriminate against you or me, the video will be a binding contract." So I had people make idle threats to me. I said, what the hell is it? Took everything down from uncensored. I said, I'm paying for the name Keith Andrew Network. That's what I'm going to be now called as. This TV producer says, what's your show called? Keith Andrew Network. Okay, what's your network called? Keith Andrew Network. What's the name of your show? I just told you. Everything I do, it's Keith Andrew Network because I'm paying for that name. And I don't want to pay for any other names. So I took them down. I wrote a permission form. I interviewed another lawyer. He said, I do you a favor. I will write you up an official form. That's why you sign. But he wrote for me. And now it's a done deal. Here's 30 days. Change your mind. Okay, after 30 days, don't bother me. And now I have a lawyer that says, anyone makes idle threats to you, tell them to talk to me. And so you see, it's a process for 6.5 years. I originally got up to 300. Mm-hmm. And then I took it down. I could have easily gave up. But I did another 300. So if you really want to drive me up a wall, you were supposed to be 926. So yes, unofficially, I did over 926 episodes. Officially, I did 624 episodes. I don't know why I said 26, but 924 unofficially, officially 924. 624. And then I'm showing you, hey, it's a work in progress, what I'm able to accomplish. But wrapping up our talk show, because we're going to do a special Q&A right after this, is when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first honest opinion when you read it? What made you say yes? And how do you feel now?
I had not heard of it, to be very honest. So I did my actor research of like, yeah, sure, this sounds, like something I can help out with. It was more just like, I don't know what my day looks like ever. So finding time in a schedule, for me was more of a concern. I have not done something like this other than like a high school talkback or a college talkback after a show or something like that. So was excited to be a part of it. And yeah, I feel good now.
No, absolutely. And would you recommend it to other people?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
And my last question for you is, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram?
I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So LinkedIn is Samantha Simone. And then Instagram is SammySims21. It's SAMISIMS 21. And then Facebook, I'm Sam Nikki, NIKKI, because teaching. The kids don't find you.
No, absolutely. We're wrapping up our interview segment. It was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Thank you. Me too.